Has the Governor General of this country questioned the Prime Minister of Jamaica about the constitutionality of the public state of emergency? And why I'm asking this question this morning is because a well-known constitutional lawyer who everybody knows, you know? And by the way, this morning I have with me the great-great-grandson of Paul Bogle. He's the chairman of the St. Thomas Crime Prevention Unit, Marcel Clark. We're going to have him on in a couple of minutes. But there is something that I want to play that was brought to my attention too, The President of the Senate, the Honorable Thomas Tavares Finson, addressed the Youth Parliament yesterday. And upon addressing the Youth Parliament yesterday, the President of the Senate ended up saying something that really shocked me. Listen to this. I don't know if you're hearing me out there, but hold a minute. I don't think you all are hearing it. So let me, that's why sometimes, you must have the clippings sent to the radio station, but, we have, Lord, why is this thing giving me a problem this morning, Lord? Anyway, we're trying to get this audio clipping up and going. I don't know if anyone out there is hearing me. Mr. Brown, could you say if you're hearing the audio clipping, sir? Because I need to play this, I really, truly need to play this. Okay, Sir Clark, thank you. I need to play this because based on what is going on, we need to find out something here. Is it a legal aspect of the Constitution, or is it the PM is breaching the Constitution of Jamaica? Now, let me see if the audio clipping is going to go through. I want to play this clipping, And I have everything set up earlier on, and the devil is a liar this morning. Because what the lawyer is saying, maybe if somebody should take the government to court, it will be a it will be some legal showdown. Now, based on all of this, we need somebody, a legal mind, to tell us this. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. I may talk over it, but I got it from a prominent source. Mr. McFarlane, if the government should call for another state of emergency, given what happened in the Senate a couple of days ago, would it be constitutional?
Well, that's the most important question because, of course, it would be for our court to decide. And the first thing to point out to you is that the court has jurisdiction to deal with such a matter under our Constitution, under the new chapter of fundamental rights and freedom, in the same chapter 20, that gives the government the powers to have the Governor General proclaim a state of emergency, it also says in Section 20, subsection 2, subsection 5, paragraph 5, the court shall be competent to inquire into and determine whether a proclamation or resolution purporting to have been made or passed under this section was made or passed for any purpose specified in this section, or whether any measures taken pursuant thereto are reasonably justified for that purpose. So the court, in fact, would have the power to review, to look at the measures taken to see whether or not they're constitutional. The question, of course, is what position is the court likely to take? Because this would be unprecedented, this would be new. What we do know is that since our new Charter of Rights, the court has taken a very strong position in relation to protecting the rights and freedoms listed under the Charter. And the particular rights and freedoms that we're talking about, of course, this is concerning the question of detention without charge. The Constitution quite clearly provides that such rights shall not be abridged or abrogated or infringed against unless it is for demonstrably justified reasons in terms of a free and democratic society. Mm-hmm. What the NIDS case, the recent NIDS case showed in terms of the approach of our court is that the burden would be on the government to show that it is justified. The old law, the old approach was that there was a presumption of constitutionality. That no longer applies. What happens, therefore, if the government has proclaimed a state of emergency in whatever parish, it is not extended because it has failed to get the 2/3 majority required by the Constitution, and the government simply puts it back up. In my view, the government would have a difficulty justifying the new proclamation. And the reason for that is that when you look at the provisions of the Constitution in relation to the declaration of a state of emergency, unless you have a 2/3 majority of both houses allowing for the extension. But it also says that that extension cannot be for more than 3 months at a time. So it seems to me that the courts are likely to find that states of emergencies should only be used for emergencies, and that the Constitution did not intend for you to use it in a chronic way to deal with crime or anything else.
You hear what the lawyer said? The Constitution of Jamaica was not designed for the Prime Minister of this country to be using it just like he wants to use it anytime he wants to use it. Sir Clark, come on in now. Sir Clark, are you there? It is not for the Prime Minister of this country to be using the state of public emergency anyhow you feel like using it. Is a lawyer said this is not Jeffrey Tavares? Have make we talk. Our Roots 96.1 FM. Or the producer of the show, Owen Brown. Or the managing director of Roots, Carl Taylor. It is a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer, is saying this to us. So the question must be asked. Is the Prime Minister of this country reaching the Constitution and the fundamental rights of the Jamaican people? Sir Clark, based on what you hear, what is your views?
Good morning, Sir Tavares. Good morning, Jamaica. If the constitutional lawyer is correct, then it's disturbing. But my observation through the years, I'm in my 50s, and 1980 was when I heard of state of emergency. And I think the next one I can recall was maybe the gas riot. I don't remember. And then we had the Tivoli incursion one. And then since 2016, we've been having numerous state of emergency. And it seems as if it's just mere government badness or government madness. I think the state of emergency is being exhausted to a point where it has no effect. What I gather from it that the state of emergency is doing is based on what the Prime Minister said, that they're looking for 300 crime producers. But now you hold 3 million people hostage. I think it's grossly unfair. If you know that you have 300 crime producers, then why not set up a task force across Jamaica in these hotspot areas to find these violent producers and exercise whatever law you can to bring them in and to bring them to books or to investigate or monitor them or whatever the law permits. We know that there's 3 million people in Jamaica. I don't think that is even a quarter of the population. So I'm saying, why all the entire country or sections of the country under this sort of control where people cannot move? Is it then you're saying to the nation that this is the only solution we have for crime, where we inconvenience everybody? I think that is the wrong approach. It sends a wrong message. I really think that the Prime Minister, the Minister of Security, the Minister of Justice, the Commissioner of Police.
Mr. Clark, the question must be asked. The country of an Attorney General,
yes,
who is the chief law enforcement of this country? Is the chief law enforcement of the country? Forget about the chief law enforcement of the country. You know who is in charge of the country? You think it's Andrew Holness? It's the Governor General of Jamaica, Sir Patrick Linton Allen. The buck stopped with the Governor General of this country. And the question must be asked, have the Governor General questioned the public state of emergency by the Prime Minister of this country? Why is the Governor General signing off on it? Is it that we need to come now and write a letter to the King of England and say to him, get rid of the Governor General out here? Because he is a yes man to the Prime Minister.
Huh? I think the term that they use is that based on the advice of the Prime Minister, the Governor General would sign off.
Yes, but the Governor General is an independent person from the Parliament of Jamaica, from any political party. He's independent.
In a normal circumstances, recommendation is not guaranteed to be taken. A recommendation is just merely a recommendation. And it begs to question if the Governor General is really looking at supporting documents or data or intelligence to agree with this recommendation and to sign it into law. You know, I really am worried and concerned about the frequency of the state of emergencies. And when I look at the traffic jam from Don Robin Washington Boulevard all the way down Ferry, and you hear Spanish Town Road and all those places clogged because of this state of emergency, and you see all this military exercise. But even though there's 300 people, then use the military to find them. I know that the MIU at GADF is very effective. I know they gather more intelligence than the JCF. And their intelligence is much more credible. So I am wondering, why not use the arm of the military intelligence to seek out these violent producers and bring them under a monitoring system where they can monitor them and then you exercise the law, whatever is available to them to bring these people to books. It can't be that you have intelligence that this man is committing this crime and you can't bring him to books. Intelligence that you gather must be able to produce that. Yes. And I'm really concerned of this rubber stamping of the Governor General. I'm really concerned of this 300 persons that you're looking for, but you hold 3 million hostage. I'm really concerned that the Prime Minister is even considering to launch another state of emergency because these are expired.
I am happy you go there. Listen to what the lawyer, the constitutional lawyer, end up saying based on the question you asked.
So, if in fact the state of emergency proclamation was rejected by Parliament and the Parliament simply brings it back, it seems to me that the court may find that it is not reasonably justifiable to have that instituted in terms of the protection of citizens and their rights. All you should understand, please, is that we know that the courts have already made certain rulings in relation to states of emergency. But this did not actually stop the government from bringing back the last set of regulation proclamation. And the reason for that is that what the courts had before them at the time were regulations that were put forward under the Emergency Powers Act. Because remember, when the state of emergency is declared, what it is really saying is that regulations can now be made under the Emergency Powers Act because the Governor General has declared a state of emergency. The Emergency Powers Act is constitutional. That's not the problem. The regulations thereunder may not be. And that is what the courts actually found in the particular cases of the 6 or however many detainees that the matters came up. That in fact, the way the regulations are written, the circumstances, etc., and how it was handled was not constitutional.
You hear that?
Yes.
In other words, they know the Prime Minister, the Minister, the Attorney General, the Governor, they know, but they will not amend the Constitution to suit the people of this country. If I'm understanding what the man is saying correctly, they will not do that. And I want to know something. Are we living in a totalitarian country? Are we living in Russia or China? Listen to me. The time has come for the people of this country to say to these political parties and these people who want to govern this country, are we put on there?
Jeffrey, may I crave your indulgence?
Go ahead.
It is interesting what the gentleman is saying, but may I be a little bit mischievous? I would love to hear 2 or 3 more constitutional lawyers confirm what he's saying or discredit what he's saying, because people will say,
hold on. Before you go there, go and consult your constitution and the Charter of Fundamental Rights. Because when he did it, I went and I said, oh, and our good friend Wilfred Radigan did the same thing. The buck stopped with the Governor General of Jamaica. He has the final say. He has to sign off of every law in this country. When the law goes through to the Senate, it's from the Senate to the Governor General office. It comes from the upper house, go all the way down, the lower house, go all the way down to the Senate. If I am saying this correctly.
I think you missed what I was trying to say.
Go ahead.
I understand that you have dissected the Constitution, and Mr. Rattigan and others. The constitutional lawyer obviously did. But I'm saying for the listening audience that may not endeavor to delve into the Constitution itself or to read it for themselves. We as persons that are on here right now, and I'm saying, I think you need a part 2 to this, where you bring on a panel of constitutional lawyers, at least 2 or 3, and go back through this thing again, that the audience will understand exactly what the gentleman is saying and the point that you're making. And it will now open the eyes of the public that something is fundamentally wrong with the execution of these SOEs and this rubber stamping of the Governor General, because they may not believe a Jeffrey Tavares, they may not believe a Marcel Clark, they may not believe Roots FM, they may not believe the goodly gentleman. But if I think of a panel of 2 or 3 more attorneys that practice specifically in the Constitution, come out and say, listen, so and so and so is wrong, so and so is right, this is what is permitted, this is what is not permitted. On the topic of the SOE, I think Jamaica, it would serve Jamaica much better.
No, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Clark. But under the Constitution, the SOE is supposed to be used for a public state of emergency in case of somebody trying to do whatever with the country or the natural disaster. Yes, it may be argued in court that the crime going up is a national disaster. I agree. But what I am saying, and I think what the constitutional lawyer is saying, is that the PM or the government has been using this public state of emergency quite too often.
Willy-nilly.
That's the only way to fight crime in Jamaica. That's a question must be asked.
And I agree with you, Sir Tavares. And what I'm saying is, I think it's just being used as a rubber stamp to quell an uprising in terms of a spike in crime, to make it appear as if it is doing something or they're combating crime. But what struck me strange was the day that this SOE was launched. It was launched the day after the taxi and busmen withdrew their service.
And that is why right now I have with me at after 11:30 he's gonna come on. I have with me the director of communication for the One Voice group. The Reverend Finnegan.
Yes.
I'm gonna let him come on because there's some question I need to ask him. Go ahead, sir.
Let me just finish something. What is strange is that the Prime Minister is now considering to renew the state of emergency on the eve of the pronouncement of Mr. Canute here, where they're going to be arresting bus and taxi drivers for outstanding tickets. Are they expecting some sort of uprising? I don't hear that from the groups that I am in. I mean, I'm a lot of the transportation groups. I'm not heard anybody pushing any violence or any demonstration.
But the question must be asked, Mr. Clark. Is the powers may be afraid of the bus and taxi operators joining up? That's the question must be asked. You know, let us bring in the communication director of the One Voice group, Reverend Finnegan. Unmute your mic and your camera for me now.
So Jeffrey,
yes,
good
yes,
morning,
sir.
and good morning, Sir Clark.
Morning, Sir Finnegan. Morning.
Yes, Sir Jeffrey, I'm all ears for a while now. What's up?
Yes. I want to know something. Have you all get any response from the Minister of Transportation and pertaining to the letter that you all wrote? Jatu, Tads and all to come together and write a letter. Have you getting a response from the good gentleman as yet?
We have got no response, sir.
Bangarang. Based on what Mr. Clark said a while ago, we're talking about the constitutionality of the public state of emergency. But based on what Mr. Clark said a while ago, I want to find out something from you. You hear any rumbling in the quiet say, come the 1st of December, the people don't go on strike or go on with anything?
I don't hear of it, but there are some transportation groups and there are other persons in society that are spreading rumor that One Voice is planning to bully the government and hold the government hostage and hold the country at hostage. I did an interview on TVJ Sunday night, and I don't know if you saw in the Gleaner yesterday, an article came out from One Voice. And there's nothing in the interview or the article
Reverend Finnegan? You see that we have Reverend Finnegan? Yes,
Yeah,
Reverend
I'm
Finnegan,
back.
I lost you a while ago. Go ahead, repeat what you're saying.
Yeah, man, I'm saying that in the interview with TVJ on Saturday rather, and the interview with the Gleaner in which they published the One Voice article yesterday, we have not indicated any demonstration or any planned strike that the organization have. What we have been doing from last week, Friday, Mr. Clark and Mr. Jeffrey, is that we have been having a series of consultation among our members in each parish. Last night, we had a very good meeting with operators in Bagwalk. And we leave from Bagwalk and have another meeting with the operators in Old Harbour. We leave Old Harbour after 10 last night. And on the agenda for today is Clarendon and Manchester. So we are doing consultation on the ground to make an assessment tomorrow to look at the way forward. So I have not known whether from One Voice as it is now or from any other group of any planned demonstration or protest. If there is any, then it is not been published because I've heard the other transportation group send out several releases that they will not be supporting any strike, any demonstration. We have not sent out any such release because if it come to the boiling point that we're going to have to have a withdrawal of service.
I think he's traveling. A withdrawal of service. Reverend Finnegan, we have lost him again. Reverend Finnegan, we have lost you. A withdrawal of service and what?
No, what I'm saying is there are several transportation groups.
I think you're traveling, and I think that's why we are losing you, you know. Is there any way to pull off?
Yeah, I'm going to try that. But in the meantime, until I pull off.
Yeah, please. We're gonna try and get Mr. Finnegan to pull off the side of the road to speak to us because this is important. Very important. The state of public emergency and bus and taxi operators wrote a letter to the Minister of Transportation, the Honorable Audley Shaw, and the minister have the decency to respond to the people.
All right, so Jeffrey, I stopped somewhere.
Go ahead now. And you're saying that you don't think if you reach the boiling point, what happened with the One Voice group?
Well, our position at One Voice.
Okay,
group,
hold on for me. Sorry, I just realized that we must take a quick commercial break. It's 11:31. We're gonna take a commercial break. We'll be right back and make we talk.
Providence Pharmacy will be celebrating their 5th anniversary on Wednesday, November 30, and they will be celebrating with a health fair. They'll be offering free health checks. Come and get your blood pressure, weight, blood sugar discounted, and lots more. And join DJ String as we will be broadcasting live on location from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the Inner City Vibe. Come on down. There'll be giveaways and surprises. Also, a number of artists will be performing. Come for fun, entertainment, and your health checks. That's Providence Pharmacy's 5th anniversary and health fair, Wednesday, November 30, 2022 at 25 Olympic Way.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Showtime! DJ Swing Promotion proudly presents the return of Showtime. Clarendon meets Kingston on Saturday, December 10, 2022 at Strings Variety Store, 50 Olympic Way, Kingston, 11 Jamaica. Featuring Black Her, Ras Vogel, India Celine, Naji, Mr. Bertus, Sensa T, Ashore, Patrick Badu, Emmanuel Chin, Jabi, Anilian, Just Chris, Nature Ellis, and Gotcha, Clarendon Massive, Bubba Wiseman, Emmanuel Stain, Stratos Garden, Garrison Youth, Volcano, Hammer One, and Swagger. It's going to be awesome. Music will be provided by Creation Sound with DJ Candyman and DJ Rubber. Guest DJ Mark Watson. And of course, yours truly will be the MC. It's going to be awesome. Lots of giveaways will be happening. So make it a date and don't be late. On December 10th, the return of Showtime at String Variety Store, 50 Olympic Way, Kingston, 11 Jamaica. Make sure you come out early.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
Hi, I'm Marcia.
I'm Adrian.
Join us this and every Wednesday morning for Extraordinary Abilities on Roots 96.1 FM. Join us for news, views, and interviews with extraordinary people. Extraordinary Abilities every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your extraordinary radio station, Roots 96.1 FM. It's going to be fun, informative, and educational, but most of all, it will be extraordinary. Extraordinary.
This is Pastor Aretha Taylor with Kingdom Faith International Ministries and Missions, and these are my testimonies. Please join me as I share with you my testimonies about my life-impacting spiritual journey of brokenness, hurt, homelessness, betrayal, abandonment, fear, anger, rejection, abuse, and so much more. Right here on Roots 96.1 FM every first Sunday starting December 4th at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Looking forward to sharing with you.
Welcome back to Make We Talk here on Roots 96.1 FM. I'm speaking to Reverend Finnegan, the director of the One Voice Group. Mr. Finnegan, you're saying to us that the One Voice Group, if it reached the boiling point, what would happen?
All right, let me just back up a little.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying first that I have seen a number of release from other public transportation group that have stated on a daily basis over the last 4 or 5 days that they are not interested in a withdrawal of service and they will not be supporting one at this time. Now, the position of the One Voice Transportation Group, if we get to what we consider to be the boiling point, that is our word, we will be having a withdrawal of service by our members. And that decision comes up based on, one, the feedback that we are getting on the ground based on our consultation that we have been doing from Friday. Every single day, we have been going across the parishes of Jamaica, speaking with our people on the ground. And two is, since the withdrawal of service on the 14th of November, there is 102 workers, drivers, and investors that have not returned back to work in the KMTR, 102. We have 3 investors as we speak that for sale is presently on their cards. We have an investor that is now selling jelly since the 14th of November. He hadn't touched back the road. We have another investor that is now selling food in Coronation Market. He has not touched back the road. We have several of them that gone into construction, and we have others that are now gone into truck driving. So we have started to lose members of the public transportation sector by either staying home, gone into different trade, gone into construction, and selling their vehicles. So the fear that has been driven in this society, and not just a fear, but is one that we refer to as a crippling fear, has been driving our investors and our operators in doing other things. Now, the third thing is that there are some operators that can't find a second job at this time, and based on their personal financial demand. They are out there, Mr. Jeffrey, but they are playing what we call in Jamaica a cat and mouse game with the police. So as soon as the cat, which is the police, move, the operators who are the mouse come out. And by the time they come out, the police are there and them. And I said to them this morning when I addressed the 4 platform that we have, that they can continue to play this cat and mouse game with the police because they are going to be held one way or the other.
But Reverend Finnegan,
so the fear alone that is in the sector is going to cause our members to stay home. Even if we didn't have a withdrawal service. They're going to be staying home.
Reverend Finnegan,
yes.
The question must be asked, though, Mr. Finnegan, because it is in the public domain. Why should the government give them an amnesty? Okay, they didn't get the amnesty, they asked for a payment plan. And it's not only for bus and taxi operators alone, and that the public must understand that. It is for everybody who has gotten a ticket. Now, the question to you, Reverend Finnegan, do you have any idea why the Minister of Transportation have to respond to neither you nor the other groups?
The only thing I can say is that based on the letter that we have written and the information that we have gotten is that it has to be a cabinet decision.
So cabinet, let me tell now.
I don't know why the cabinet has not taken a decision where it is. And then in our meeting that we have been having, one of the concerns that our members have is that the government of Jamaica was actively in electronic and printed media and at party conference and at every
I was just going to say that to you.
And at every occasion that they address any gathering in Jamaica, they were actively promoting a gun amnesty, bringing the gun that kill any amount of people, do every type of robbery.
But not only that, Mr. Finnegan.
One second, Sir Tavares. And they are willing to pay up to $500 for these guns. The criminals that are being held by the police and brought before the court, even on murder charge and gun charges, before the trial even starts, if they plead guilty, there is a major reduction immediately in their sentence. We have been saying to the government, the media and other people are spreading it, so Tavares and so Clark, that we are asking for an amnesty for a write-off. The 4 letters that I participate in writing and delivering, there's nothing in these letters that asks for a write-off. All the letters ask for a payment plan.
But Mr. Finnegan, sorry to be cutting you like this. But even if you ask for a write-off, you have all right to ask for a write-off because the judge has put a stop order. If my memory, and Sir Clark can correct me on this, if I'm wrong, a stop order on the tickets. Because of the constitutionality of the way how they do the tickets.
Yes, an injunction was filed. An injunction was filed.
So if an injunction was filed, that means the government of Jamaica is breaching the constitution of the land in the sense of collecting these money.
Yeah, but we have to remember also, Sir Jeffrey, that immediately after the injunction was made by the judge, the government, the cabinet met overnight.
Yes, and what they did, Mr. Finnegan, it is unconstitutional.
Yes.
It's against the law.
Well, there's a number
hold on here. If the court of the land put an injunction against something, you're saying to me that the court don't have any say in all of this?
The court has, Sir Jeffrey, but what we don't have is the personnel within the public transportation sector that is willing to challenge these things in court. And on the agenda of the One Voice movement, we are planning as soon as we get this payment plan off our neck. Our next move is to challenge the injunction that was made in November last year, that the government went into cabinet now and did something different. We will be challenging the Road Traffic Act. We'll be challenging the Transport Authority Act. Not challenging the entire act, but there are clauses in it in which we have problem with. And then I came into the system and hear about a MOU that was signed between the public transportation sector and the Transport Authority. And that also we are planning to
So who signed the
challenge.
MOU?
I don't know who signed it. I don't know who signed on behalf of the sector. But what happened is that the
But we all know who signed on behalf of the sector. You know what? We can't name. Go ahead.
The transportation sector is in a deep mess. And this sector is this only sector that moves the wheels of the economy. And if the brake is held, the wheels are cut, or the gas pedal break off, the economy is gonna crash. Last week, Monday by 4:35 p.m., the three most powerful groups in the country come out and make a joint statement that they could not manage another day of withdrawal of service. And the government should meet with us. We get press release in the night that the government, the Prime Minister would be having a press conference to deal with the issue of the sector 8:30 the following morning. 7 o'clock, I get a call to say that the meeting is rescheduled for 1 because it clashed with the Minister of Transport itinerary. But 8:30, somebody called me and said, Mr. Finnegan, get on the television, the press conference is on. So I hurry up and bring up my phone and get onto TVJ. On the bottom of the TVJ screen were the word public bus and taxi operators within the public transportation sector. But what was coming from the presenter's mouth was the declaration of a state of emergency.
That is the same thing I got, that they were going to have a press conference the public transport sector. That is the information I got.
And that's what we got to.
So Finnegan, we don't have enough time here. I would love to have you on later on this evening if you can.
Just tell me the time and I'll make myself available.
But your final words on Roots 96.1 FM to all Jamaicans in the public transport sector. What is your final words to them? Because Minister Ardeshaw don't see it fit to answer. And the cabinet meet 2 times already. Is it that the man who make cabinet, the woodwork man, not make for the cabinet yet? Go ahead, Finnegan. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have been told continuously that it is a process and we must be patient. The members of the One Voice movement is asking me every single day, how long should we wait? I'm saying to the government of Jamaica, while we have been waiting over 12 days now, our members are being carted up on a daily basis by the dozen and taken either to jail or to court. There are situations where as soon as the police run the driver license and realize warrant is out, we have 2 cases where the driver run away, leave the vehicle and leave his driver's license. Our operators are in fear. They are staying home. They are putting for sale on their vehicle and they are gone into other trade. And so we are saying to the government of Jamaica, the public transportation sector is in fear and the fear is crippling. And we are now becoming very restive. Thank you very much, Sir Vincent.
No. Sir Tavares.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Tavares.
Jeffrey,
thank you.
Mr. Finnegan,
Yes,
before
sir.
you go, sir, you're a man of the cloth, and I think you would know this song. And I think this is what you're trying to say in a nutshell to the general public. You know the song, I need you, you need me, I need you to survive. You know that song?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, man. I think the public needs to understand that they need the transportation sector and the transportation sector needs the public. So they should be working in harmony and standing up and voicing to the government that, listen, if these drivers are taken off the road, we can't go to work. We can't earn $1. And it is ironic that the state of emergency is running out tonight and the Prime Minister is saying that he may be announcing a new one.
I heard him.
You know, and when is December 1st? Huh? Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Sir Clark.
Thursday is Canute here holiday.
Well, a certain member of the transport sector not give him a water. Egerton Newman give him a award for go around go harass the people them. Anyway, that's another time for something else. So Finnegan, thank you for coming on. Thank you very much, sir.
I'll see you later, Sir Jeffrey. And Sir Clark will talk.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. You want to see what's going on in this country? I am not saying, and the bus and taxi operators are not saying that some of the things that they do was right. They need to pay the tickets, but give them a payment plan, no? Give them a payment plan. And I'm not taking up for any bus and taxi operators who may go on with the antics. But the fact of the matter is that the people need a payment plan. And they need to get a payment plan. They deserve a payment plan. The roads are atrocious. Tires are going up. Parts are going up. Everything is going up. The roads are atrocious. So the fact of the matter is, we need to give them a payment plan. Go ahead.
Sir Jeffrey, I turn on my camera back for one main reason. I want the public and I want Reverend Finnegan to save my face when I say these words. I honestly believe that the government is waiting on the sector to explode. And that is why they have delayed in responding to the request. Because then they're going to say, oh, see how them behave there. I think that's what they're doing now. And I'm urging this sector to just hold strain, outweigh the government, outweigh them. Because when they start to arrest persons, there's still going to be a void in the system. There's still going to be a shortage of taxis and buses because numerous drivers have outstanding tickets, yes, but most of those tickets are illegal. Most of them have been paid already and they're still on the system. So it is unfair to be executing a warrant on the transportation sector when you have a faulty system, a faulty record system, a faulty payment system. It is unconstitutional. It's illegal. It's a breach. And the mere fact that some of these tickets, that there's a stop order issued by a court, an injunction that these tickets should not be issued because they're being illegally issued. And some have already been issued illegally, where there should be a $3 billion refund to the sector, to drivers. So imagine if these drivers got back that refund, then they could pay for those tickets that are still outstanding, that are legal though. They could pay for them because they wouldn't have to find money. They'll be getting back our money. And I'm saying to the sector, all strain, outweigh the government. We have been waiting long. And if they do arrest you guys, guess what? The system gonna still feel the pressure. It's going to come right back at the government because they failed to address it.
And another thing before we go off here, the JUTC cannot take the hems of the wheel in the transport sector. They don't have enough buses. That's some old dilapidated bus that I wonder how they're on the road. Is it? But you know, this is our country, and I'm trying to figure out something here. Is this the country that talk about a 2030 vision for? Are these people living in like termite them out them brain? I have a governor general. The guy termite it off him brain. Every day talk about 2030. The 2030 vision to live and work where? In a country where half of Jamaica don't have running water in their pipe? Huh? And they talk about 2030 vision. The breadbasket parish of St. Elizabeth. Every year you hear, every August you hear about drought. They don't have running water. So the question must be asked, is this the country that they're talking about a 2030 vision where our transport sector is out of work? We don't have a proper transport sector. You're issuing license left, right, and center. And there's not a proper parking facility for transport for transport people and for commuters who want to take taxis and bus in half a tree. Huh?
Sir Jeffrey. there is a high-level meeting going on at JOTC as we speak. And I think they're trying to put things in place that when there is a void of drivers come the first, that they will pull out some more of those dinosaurs that I saw the 14th and the 15th.
You mean they all sitting them?
Yeah, man, I saw some
When
big old white
not
man
fit to be on the
a
road?
long time. Yeah. I saw some white ones, you know. You know, the white ones, them hold.
When you see the illegality I think was going on in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sad.
we're living in a sad state in this country. The constitutionality of this public state of emergency, the public transport sector, the Nutribun issue, the labor law, where even Jamaicans in the farm work program, they get in contact with me. There's some Jamaicans that is being sent back home. They don't have no use to their family. They can't afford to buy medications. And this is what is going on in this country, where we sit down in this country and nobody speaks for the poor, pauperizing people of our country. Huh? How long shall we suffer like this in this country? Farm workers go away. They get an honesty for their people. And when they go over there, they're being shipped off into modern day slavery by the Ministry of Labor of Jamaica. They are being shipped off into modern day slavery by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And the Minister of Labor and Social Security, the Honorable Carl Samuda, is saying nothing go so. And you have some liaison officers in Canada who treat the people like them are nothing. And money come out of their salary. Money come out of their salary, you know, to pay these liaison officers. And when you call the liaison officer, they don't answer their phone. Hello, I got have a program about this. I think I said nothing to nobody. The time has come, Jamaica and Jamaicans, to speak out. We can't sit down and continue like this in this country. We cannot. We cannot. And I want to ask a question. I'm going to ask my good friend, Sir Rowan James, the chairman for the Police Federation. If this is how the police are dressed nowadays, like Talibans, with masks over their face, one can see their eye. Now, if somebody comes in on the road, they stop me, me not got up. They come in front of my police. I can't see their face. Something was sent to me this morning. I'm trying to figure out, what is this? Members of the JCF dressed, cover up their head and their face, on their eye, you can't see. What's going on in this country? What's really going on in this country we call the land of wood and water? I hear the Police Federation, Sir Rowan James, leaking out against the Minister of National Security and the Commissioner of Police, and they were sitting in the audience. He never minced word to tell them. I don't have enough time for it this morning here. But he never minced word to tell them that they are the cause of why the police don't have the equipment to fight the crime in this country. The Minister of National Security, the Commissioner of Police, and the Prime Minister himself, they are the cause. And the chairman for the Federation said they do not see the cause to have another state of emergency. It's not helping. So if it is not helping, why are we having it? Anyway, it's time for me to come off. Join us this evening at 7 o'clock. We'll be speaking some more about the way how the public transport sector has been treated by the government of Jamaica and by the opposition party of this country. So until you hear me again, at 7 o'clock this evening, join Reverend Finnegan, the chairman for the communication chairman for the One Voice group, along with other members of the transport sector, will be coming on to speak about the transport sector. Where does it go from here? And we're talking about the 23rd Division. I am Jeffrey Tavares saying thank you all for listening. And may God bless Jamaica land we love. Sister Tem, good afternoon, ma'am. Thanks to my producer, Owen Brown. May God bless you all. Thank you all very much. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Thank you all. Return to the studios of Roots 96.1 FM.
Monkeypox is in Jamaica. If you are experiencing fever, intense headache, muscle ache,